This is Infinity. In this video, we will summarize one of the most popular books by Sadhguru, which is Inner Engineering. As the pace of life in the world continues to accelerate, we find ourselves struggling to keep up. While many turn to yoga as a means of escape, it is often reduced to a mere physical exercise routine, aimed at preparing us for the next day's work grind. But the truth is that yoga is much more than that. It is a philosophy and a form of prayer that targets the body's energy centers and enhances mental clarity. This book summary aims to reintroduce us to the wisdom of yoga that is often overlooked in the Western lifestyle. Through Inner Engineering, we will discover how to rediscover our spirituality, create our own unique life experiences, and find lasting fulfillment. We will learn why it's important to avoid consuming bullshit, and how to generate our own bliss molecule. Learning number 1, the only way to find fulfillment that lasts is to look within ourselves. The key idea of inner engineering is that true and lasting fulfillment can only be found by turning inward and discovering oneself. Often, people who achieve traditional measures of success, such as wealth or fame, still feel unfulfilled in their lives. This is because sacrificing one's true self to succeed may provide temporary benefits, but it cannot bring lasting happiness. An Indian story highlights this point. Once a bird sought the advice of a bull, when he was unable to reach the top of a tree to take in the view. The bull advised the bird to eat a small piece of dung each day, which would gradually make him stronger, and eventually allow him to reach the top. The bird followed the bull's advice and became stronger, but once he finally reached the top, a farmer shot and killed him for dinner. In the same way, relying on external factors, such as material possessions, or status to bring fulfillment, will only take us midway. To truly find fulfillment, it is crucial to recognize that our experiences and emotions are not solely rooted in the external world. For example, while reading a book, the book is seen within us, not outside of us. This understanding is essential because many people become fixated on the external world and miss the importance of turning inward. Learning number 2, human perceptions and emotions are self-generated. This means that we have the ability to build our own experiences in life. How often do we notice the paradoxical nature of physical touch? Sometimes, we crave it and other times it seems to irritate us. This phenomenon sheds light on a fundamental truth about human emotions, which is that these are self-generated. Just like the external world, the way we feel is also perceived within ourselves. For instance, when someone yells at us, we unconsciously react with fear or anger. However, it is possible to make these reactions conscious, and take control of them. The reality is that some humans create their own experiences in life, but some others resort to drugs or alcohol to find happiness. The Israeli chemist, Raphael Mechoulam, has discovered that people can naturally produce their own bliss molecule, or anandamide. This chemical stimulates the nervous system and creates a sense of pleasure without any adverse side effects, like smoking marijuana. We can induce the production of this chemical by exercising or experiencing states of ease and flow while working. However, yogis have taken it to the next level. Through their ability to control their bodies, they can produce anandamide, at will, simply through concentration. Learning number 3, while many people respond to life events compulsively, there is a way to learn to respond consciously. It's natural for us to obsess over negative life experiences, like bad breakups. We often find ourselves dwelling on these painful events for extended periods of time. For example, we may still think about a past partner who had cheated before. Unfortunately, this tendency to compulsively dwell on traumatic events can leave it difficult to trust new lovers. However, there is a more conscious way to respond to negative events, both past and present. By reflecting on these experiences and carefully learning from them, we can eventually grow from adversity. Let's learn from a short story of a young girl living in Austria during World War II. Nazi soldiers separated her and her brother from their parents, taking them to the train station. While waiting for the train, her brother began playing with the other boys in the group, and before they boarded, she realized that she no longer had his shoes. She scolded him in her mind, calling him an idiot. Immediately after she scolded him, they were separated and never met again. She later learned that he died in a concentration camp. However, instead of letting grief and anger destroy her life, she made it her goal to learn from the experience. She refrained from saying things she might regret, and recognized that each conversation might be the last. This decision transformed her outlook on life, and allowed her to live a more fulfilling life. This serves as an example that dwelling on old grudges and negative memories doesn't serve us. When we become conscious of how we react to things, we can step out of this negativity cycle and start walking down a more positive path. By consciously reacting to everything life might throw at us, we can take responsibility for our experiences and transform our lives. Learning number 4, contrary to popular belief, responsibility actually increases our freedom. Surprisingly, responsibility can give us freedom. Responsibility is simply the ability to take a step back, assess our options, and make a thoughtful decision about how to handle our life. Many people feel overwhelmed by the amount of tragedy they see in the news, from wars to famines. This feeling is a natural response to the human instinct to take action in the face of adversity. However, the truth is that, trying to solve every one of the world's problems, is not feasible. What is feasible though, is responding to events consciously. For example, imagine we have heard about a hurricane that has devastated a region on the other side of the world. The responsible first step would be to determine if we have the means to help those affected by the disaster. Do we have the financial resources, skills, motivation, or freedom to put aside our daily responsibilities and assist these strangers, without letting down others, who depend on us? If we determine that we cannot help, responding responsibly is more effective than ignoring the problem altogether. Learning number 5, to achieve enlightenment, we must align our bodies, minds, emotions, and energy. Since childhood, we have been taught that teamwork is the key to success. This same principle applies to our individual self as well. In order to function properly, every part of our being needs to work in tandem with each other. To reach enlightenment, we need to establish a strong communication system between our body, mind, emotions, and energy. Another traditional Indian story beautifully illustrates this concept. The story is about 4 yogis, who believed in different methods of yoga: physical yoga, yoga of the mind, yoga of prayer, and yoga of the chakras. As they were walking through a forest, it began to rain heavily, and they took shelter inside an ancient temple with no walls. The storm continued to worsen, and the yogis clustered around the god's deity at the center of the temple, and embraced it as a group. As soon as they did this, God appeared to them. They were surprised, as they had each spent their entire lives working and praying to him. God laughed and said it was because they had finally joined forces. This unity is required of a single person on the path towards enlightenment. Yoga is a tool that can help us achieve this connection to our higher self, as it brings together our body, mind, emotions, and energy. According to ancient yogic philosophies, if our body is balanced, but our mind craves food or sex, our body will quickly become unbalanced. The same goes for our emotions and energy. To truly become balanced, we need to meditate, practice the physical aspects of yoga, pray, and work on exercising our energy centers. Learning number 6. We are unknowingly connected to powerful forces of the earth and universe, as we are a tiny part of them. Many people see the earth as a dirty place and strive to keep it clean and sterile, but what about our own bodies? Are they also filthy? The truth is that the human body is intimately connected to the environment, and the earth itself. Our bodies are made up of the food we consume, which ultimately comes from the earth, and returns to it. This means that our bodies are essentially pieces of the earth, and everything that affects the earth also affects us. Furthermore, as a part of the universe, we are impacted by cosmic events, including the movements of the stars, sun, and moon. The human body is also capable of tuning into the universe and the earth. There's a story of a man in India, who was able to predict rain based on his body's ability to feel meteorological changes. While some may doubt this ability, people who live in rural areas will attest to the fact that such transitions can be felt through the body, and that it is possible to train the body to become more aware of them. However, the human intellect can hinder our ability to experience life to the fullest. Even with scientific understanding, our intellect has limitations that can prevent us from fully experiencing life. To truly experience life, we must recognize our small and insignificant place in the vast universe. It is important to acknowledge that every thought we have is even less significant than we are in the grand scheme of things. Our intellect can sometimes convince us that we can grasp the concept of life, but the truth is that we cannot. When we become lost in our thoughts, we lose sight of the complexity and delicate balance of the cosmos, which appears almost magical. To truly experience life, we must release our intellect and accept that reality is much larger than our understanding. Learning number 8. Visit some of the most spiritually powerful places in the world. The concept of spiritual energy can seem abstract and elusive to many people, even to those who are dedicated to their spiritual growth. However, there are numerous locations on Earth that are saturated with spiritual energy, making them excellent places to begin a spiritual journey. Yogis and mystics have long recognized the value of such locations, and have deliberately imbibed them with spiritual knowledge and energy. For instance, Mount Kailasa in Tibet and Kedarnath, a temple in the Himalayas, dedicated to the god Shiva, are both places of immense spiritual significance for Hindus and Buddhists. By visiting such sacred sites, one can tap into the stored spiritual energy, and gain access to a wealth of wisdom, that can aid in their spiritual growth and healing. For those seeking enlightenment, visiting holy places and seeking guidance from gurus, can be a transformative step towards deeper spiritual awareness. With countless locations on earth filled with spiritual energy, the journey towards spiritual growth and healing is just a pilgrimage away. In conclusion, to find true happiness and peace, one must look within themselves and control their perception of the world. By balancing the mind and body, seeking out spiritual places, and being present in the moment, one can achieve this. An immediate actionable step is to focus on minute details of life, like breathing and eating food. Focusing on how the body responds to every breath and bite, can be a good starting point for learning to be supportive of oneself and enjoying every moment. Thanks for watching. Infinity.